Welcome to a FSD studio session. Today I'm joined with Matt. We've been on some previous videos together, and today we're going to do a little discussion on what weapon in your house or what tools in your house you could use as a weapon if needed to be. So we've had this discussion we've been talking about for the last couple hours, and now we're going to kind of see what we come up with here. So we have found a bunch of home tools, and we're going to discuss all the things that you possibly could use in a situation where you don't have access to maybe the most common weapons, which would be the knife or a gun. And we're going to talk about those kind of briefly more near the end, but we'll go over some stuff. So Matt, welcome. Okay. And let's talk about our our homemade tools here.
We have a table here. I don't know if it's on screen. Is it? Can they see?
No,
it?
They can't see the screen.
Okay, so we reached. I did not clean this when I grabbed it from your bathroom, but we have a plunger. James has a Glock represented. It's fake, but it's a Glock training gun. A very common screwdriver. This would be represent what? A knife, like a steak knife.
Common kitchen
knife, hunting knife. Every house usually has a baseball bat. People that have a wrench.
Yep.
A hammer. Kind of a different idea, like smaller than this and more commonly found.
So the pipe wrench, just a regular wrench.
Box cutter or X-Acto knife. What is this thing called?
Level.
A level.
Yep, there we go. Keep it on the level.
A hacksaw type idea.
And of course, that comes off. So the biggest thing to remember here is when we're talking about all these weapons, is that could you use one?
So we were just having this conversation 5 minutes ago. What would be the best tool in your house? So we both agree that your handgun would be the most effective self-defense weapon, but
we live in Canada, so it basically takes away that weapon. It cannot be used. Even if you're a legal gun owner, we all know that they're securely locked away. You cannot get to that weapon because of all the laws and the stuff, which is great, which is perfect, because there's other things you can use that are just as good that you don't need that for. Okay, so but definitely. It is definitely an asset that you could use, but we can't use it in Canada because of the law. So keep that in mind.
So we'll take the gun off the table. Now, we were just discussing what would be the scenario that you would be forced to use a household weapon for self-defense. We didn't actually discuss that, but maybe a break and enter. It's 2 a.m, you hear something, people are robbing your living room, and then the situation happens. Is that kind of where we're going with? Okay, so we'll take the gun off the table.
Guns off the table.
Yes.
So, and really, when we look at it from a liability standpoint, from the law side, can we use any of these weapons, right? And we're going to discuss them all. We're going to talk about it. We're just going to see this is a discussion because there's some things in play that maybe won't let us use these, but there's other things that maybe you can. It would really depend on the situation.
I'm retired now, but I was with the military police, and one of the things we do when I teach use of force for training is we tell the officer when he walks into the room to stay out of the kitchen. So this would be probably the most common go-to for a threat. Now, the disadvantage, I feel, is let's say that my wife used a knife and didn't train with it. I feel, this could be wrong in your opinion, that if she loses this weapon, it would be used against her. That would be... But of all the training we've done, they say that you can keep the knife in front of you. Some people keep the knife behind you. But in reality, in prison movies and the videos that we post online, it always ends up being kind of a shiv.
Exactly.
Like you kind of crash into each other and someone's just kind of stabbing. So I'm not against this knife, but I don't know. Okay, this is a true story. I don't know if I can tell it, but I can tell it anyway. My buddy that's worked overseas and has been in conflicts like this, the knife often bends or breaks when it hits the bone, which I would now have known that because you think it's slicing. Right. But if the knife quality isn't good, it could bend and break inside the body, which is something I've never really seen on TV or anything like that. So do you want to put the knife as your possible and think we can think of something better than the knife?
Yeah, let's.
So right now the knife is probably number one.
Let's take the knife out.
Knife's out?
Yep, knife's out for now.
Okay, knife's over here.
I mean, for the obvious reasons, the knife or the gun work, but it's the exactly the things that you said, and the fact that you could lose that weapon, it could be used on you. Very important to remember that. So
let's add the excessive force.
Yeah.
Let's just say I'm attacking you, but you stab me, and then I bleed out and go into shock before the medics get there, and I die. Unfortunately, in Canadian law, if you could be liable for excessive force and murder.
100%.
So
Yep.
we'll take the knife and the gun off the table.
Done.
You wanna go next?
Okay, so I'm gonna pick up. We got here. I was gonna pick up the pipe wrench. Now, obviously,
It's so painful.
Yeah, this is gonna be used as well. Now, the thing is, if the other person doesn't have a weapon, okay, and I'm not defending, okay, I can't just use this to hit somebody. Okay. Now, if I needed to use it, well, I really, when it comes to weapons and use, if Matt has the baseball bat and I have this, now we have kind of equal to force, so to speak.
Okay.
Doesn't mean I can hit him with it, but he's going to try to hit me with that. If I were to take the bat away from him and I still have this, I can't use it on him.
I have a question.
Sure.
Athletic ability of the person being threat. So,
Yep.
let's say I'm a professional baseball player and I swing this for my life. You're going to get a world of hurt.
Sure.
But what if I'm a 43 mother of 4 and has never been anything athletic, and she's never, when she picks up the bat, she end up maybe just have a little tippy-tappy.
So yeah.
So then that could be in the same situation like this,
Sure.
that it could be taken away from her again, or her, or him. I mean, my dad is 70 years old, never been in a conflict. I'm trying to imagine my dad, 75, in a home, being attacked and using a bat. I'm sure it's better than nothing.
Sure.
But is it optimal versus the knife or versus the gun? Well, okay, we took the knife off the table, or the gun off the table. I would say the bat is better than the knife, you think?
I would use the bat.
I would say the bat for excessive damage. It tends to be
Sure.
less.
So,
Got it,
and going to back to what Matt said too, is using the, trained athlete compared to somebody who's never trained before. It's the same thing if it was in the martial arts world. Trained martial arts, non-trained martial arts. It's going to be taken totally differently if I've never trained a day in my life and I happen to have this weapon to defend myself, okay, against something that's coming at me as a large threat, okay, as opposed to if I have training, then I'm supposed to have better tools in place. And I don't mean tools like these, I mean tools like hands to physically to kind of diffuse the situation, whatever you want to call it. So it's really
I thought of
interesting.
something else too.
Okay, so let's put this down. Okay, these are all.
I have one more statement about the wrench in the
Sure.
back.
Okay, there we go.
We were talking today when we were training that the crash, when two human beings crash into each other, so say you're going to swing me, and you get some of the swing, and I bump, but I'm hit. Okay. Because I crashed into you, you need momentum, you need space.
Sure.
So this is
can't- yeah, exactly.
You need space to use it. Now, it is extremely intimidating, and getting hit once is going to hurt. We know how heavy, this is, this is fake, but
A heavy wrench, yeah.
a heavy wrench is hard, but it does need space.
Well, you have your ranges, right? So if you're in that strike range, that's the momentum comes in and you can get hit. But if we're in that crash range, now I can't get the momentum, so it changes it.
I'm going to put the hammer in the
Now
same
the
thing.
hammer. Okay, yeah,
Well,
hammer.
you think
yeah.
the hammer is the same predicament as these two?
Yeah, they're definitely bludgeoning type.
Still need space.
Yeah.
Okay, so we agree that space. So you'd imagine if you're defending yourself, you're falling over your coffee tables, you have railings, you have kids, you have couches.
Everything, yeah.
That terrain is going to be the number one reason why you're in a world of bad because of. But out of these three, which one do you think would you pick?
I'm picking the hammer.
I'm picking the hammer too.
No disagreement there. We got the.
Okay, hold on a sec. Grab this for a second.
All right.
Okay, we're not trained to fight with household tools, but let's say I'm fighting you now. I have to use this at the back. It's pretty scary.
Yeah. I wouldn't want to even be in this race with somebody with a hammer on that side and
Like
a bat
that
on
fight,
this side.
the gangs in New York when they are in the center of the street
Right.
and they run at each other with a bunch of tools.
Yeah. No,
This
thank you.
feels more dangerous though. Like switch me for a second.
All right.
Like this, I wish we had a real bat to feel the weight, but this,
Yeah.
this feels. I feel.
This is a real hammer. Yeah. Yeah. Maybe the bat. I
Now
don't
let me
know.
ask you another question. I'm a right-handed person, but play sports left-handed.
So I'm both ways as well.
But were you using your right hand?
I have my left hand that time
Because I wonder, this is for up to debate, but if you're the hand that you're the opponent would dictate how effective possibly. Because if I'm on my right side, that's really weird feeling, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because your hammer is coming this way, so I can sense it, but I'm also swinging into it.
It's gonna be a distance and timing issue.
I'm gonna take I feel the bat.
Matt's got the bat. All right.
Well, I just feel the bat has. I feel safety with the range.
You can definitely
the
swing
bat.
harder and swing lower.
And when it would matter between an aluminum bat and a steel bat or a wood bat, I don't know. But
Fast.
try this for a second. Because I don't have the weight, it feels like a prop to me.
But yeah.
But I wonder how the weight would feel. I still feel the hammers.
This is going to be so.
I'm bad. I go back on the hammer. I take that back.
So yeah. So the equal distance here would be the wrench and the hammer. The distance equalizer or non-equalizer would be the bat versus the hammer because I could be further away to swing that bat.
Well, now that we've thrown things on the table, so let's take some weapons out of the versus. Okay, if we do a versus, this is going to lose. Now, how would you end up with this in a situation?
I don't even know. I just grabbed it because it was a toolbox. So I'm not sure where the handsaw comes into play. So I'll just take it out because it's not really. But I could still swing. It would hurt. I could still cause cutting with this.
If we set up a scenario where a person's at home and they're attacked by an unarmed person, or two, if the unarmed person has that's definitely an advantage. I mean, they all are, but I can see. I wouldn't want to be hit by that.
It would slice you.
It wouldn't. I don't know if it's going to stop someone from wanting to kill you.
No.
So, like if I'm going at you with the intent to really hurt you, and you swing this at me, I think you might give me some stitches.
That's about it.
But I think I could fight through it. Where I'm not too sure about that wrench. If I was to let you get through it, I think the wrench bat and this would definitely even the knife.
Yeah.
And this is what started the conversation.
Screwdriver.
The screwdriver. We'll come back to that though.
We only got like a couple of, we have like a wrench, which again, more bludgeoning, like hitting and striking with. And you can use this to punch with, right?
Yeah,
Get that in your hand, more of a striking tool. Okay, so.
I would say, if you agree, I don't know if you do, that is probably one of the worst ones. I wouldn't be too intimidated by it, other than you're poking it at me.
Yeah.
I think that style of wrench isn't useful.
No, you need like more of a heavier wrench, more like the pipe wrench here.
Being completely unarmed, but even if you were armed, like it's annoying, but it's not
going to hurt.
It's not
going to stop me if I'm enraged.
Right, yeah. Especially with a size different of an opponent. Like I imagine Brittany, who's my wife, is 5'4", versus a huge man coming at her to harm damage.
Wrench is not going to do it.
We'll take the wrench. The wrench is the worst one right now, in my opinion.
Box cutter. Same idea as a knife, and this is going to hurt. This is going to cause some issues.
Yeah.
Now again, you got to get it out enough to cut, but I mean, it's going to do some pretty bad damage quick, right? So we don't need to discuss this too far. We know what it does, right? And again, it's just.
How would you apply it though? So I'm at you. I want to hurt you. Where would you put that? Okay, so you grab it. You're a contractor or something. You pull it out. Where do you use it?
So it's an interesting question because
I'm at you.
As a trained person or an untrained person, I'm going to give you two different answers.
Okay, go.
A non-trained person, I'm going to maybe just slice. Right, that's all I can do. As a trained person, I'm going to look for specific spots to cut, right? And you would know that as well, right? So it would be different. But the thing is, guys, and I got to stress this all through the video, is that Canadian law states that you can't attack somebody if you're being. So if Matt's attacking me, I can't defend myself with this weapon. Okay,
no.
Right? So because now, right, no matter how it looks or how whatever happens, I'm the one with the advantage no matter how this plays out. So this is all hypothetical in the sense of what we're saying.
I've never ever thought about using this. I love knives. I mean, I live out in the country and hunt and stuff, but I never thought about using this. It seems like it would break, doesn't it?
It would probably break it, but I mean, if you got it into the throat or something like that, it snaps off perfect.
It's interesting too, because if we were Canadian weather and we were outside and this fight took place with -40 weather or -15 or whatever, do you think this would go through your 3 layers of clothing?
Probably not, but it might.
But again,
it'd be more around your head.
Is it better than nothing? For example, if someone accidentally grabbed this and then lost it to the opponent, did they put themselves in a worse condition than not having it at all?
Yeah.
I don't know if that's really like a...
It's not, it wouldn't be my first choice of weapons for sure.
So far we went over the wrench, we went over the X-Acto knife, we went over the saw, we went over this wrench, a bat, hammer, plunger. Oh, okay, we didn't really talk about the plunger. That's actually a lot of weight to it. I don't think it's going to stop a fight.
No, but it might push the person away.
It comes back to the athletic.
A much more
performance.
non-violent type tool.
But it's actually got some weight on it.
Yeah, and if I plunge you, or if I plunged you, right now. But if I want to strike, it might give me some space to get away. Right. The key thing here is get space, get out, get to safety. Okay. Right.
So we're talking about the level. I wouldn't think this is a common household item because you usually keep it locked up in. Well, some of these are kept in your house, but let's just say you had it.
Most of these things are in the garage, not completely accessible, but I could swing it.
Hurt.
Yeah.
Again, I guess this comes back to the physical strength and athletic performance of the person swinging it. Because if you're a little lady with no real strength to it, like you're elderly, you would just get it taken away from you, which is now a worse situation. Okay, so this is our conversation, how it all started. I was saying I felt that this is probably one of the best self-defense weapons. The reason was it's easy and accessible, they're everywhere, it's not an intimidating weapon, and you can explain why it happened. I was at home, 2 people broke into my house, everybody keeps this in the top drawer or on a counter. Nobody ever puts this back where you got it from in the first place.
I know, nothing's ever back in the toolbox.
But just feel it for it.
Yeah.
Like you can, but it comes back to this. So
it's the same. You don't have to have a $300 knife to make something work for self-defense. This $2 tool will do the same job.
The only thing I like about the knife, let's go with the conversation with this piece. Okay, so with a knife, you don't want to be hit with it.
Of course.
So I might use it as a way to keep space.
Right.
Okay. But this, you have to punch it.
Yeah, exactly. It's a puncturing tool.
I think if you're mean, like we are, this might be very effective. Now, is it effective to someone that just picked it? I just don't think yes. I think, if I gave it to you for a second, I think if I wanted to hurt you and I'm going to come into your space, that would hurt like hell. And there's no training to it. You just close your eyes and just jab.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Now, let me ask you one last question, because I've never had this conversation before.
Okay.
If you took that, and there's this though.
I would definitely want that. Just because you can swing that fast enough, because unless I break distance on you.
Right.
Then I'm in.
We are what if in this, but this is just a fun conversation we started.
There's a lot of what ifs here.
Okay, so I'm imagining myself suddenly jumped in my living room for no particular reason. I think this is what I think.
Again, hypothetical, guys.
Hypothetical. The versatility of that, like the knife, is you don't need space.
No.
So you can carry that on you and forget that it's in your pocket.
Yep.
So in my opinion, other than the gun, I'm going to give the screwdriver probably the most versatile self-defense weapon without looking like you're carrying a weapon.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like for example, a fixed blade you're not allowed to carry in Canada, I think with a certain range, and you can't use a fixed blade for self-defense.
No.
Within reason. And it's not, in Canadian law, it's not that it's not self-defense. You have to justify to people why you're carrying this knife. Like, okay, so you got jumped in an alleyway and you pull out your knife for self-defense. I carry a knife. A lot of people carry knives, but you can't say you're carrying a knife for a weapon. You're saying I carry a tool. It's a tool, but you end up using it in a self-defense purpose.
Of course.
I still think that if you accidentally kill someone by trying to defend yourself, you end up liable, and that wasn't the issue for it.
Right. And that's the same with everything that we show, guys, right? So if you use the weapon, you got to know why you're using it. Okay, you have a really good reason as to why, right? So, again, like home invasion, you're being attacked by a bunch of people, right? But again, having the weapon, without them having weapons, it's got to be justifiable. So
if anybody watches this video and likes it, come up with other ideas and we'll talk about it, because this is what we just thought about, but is there things in people's households that we're not thinking of?
Sure, and I'm sure there's lots of things we haven't brought up yet, but these things are, we think of tools, but there could be other things you can add in there. So we'll finish up on that note. But thanks for the conversation, Matt. We'll be having some more of these just to keep it cool. So household tools, right?
Just something to think about.
Who'd have thought? Okay, so thank you. Have a great day, guys. We'll be back to another FSD studio session in the near future.
Take care.